lesson time, yes! Happy lesson time. Here again. Let's do it. Module 6, Lesson 7. You will be quite glad to hear that all we're doing is taking a teensy little step forward from the last lesson. This was pretty much the same objective from Lesson 6. All that we've added here is now we're going to do it with hundreds and tens. So mixed numbers, meaning you have a whole number part and a fractional / decimal part. And last time we just did ones, tenths, and hundredths. And now we're going to add in tens and hundreds. I think you can handle this. We're going to do it out in expanded form. Look at the place value chart. Let's do it, baby. All right. Count by hundredths with me. Ready? 0 hundredths, 2 hundredths, 4 hundredths. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Yeah, that's right. We're kind of skip counting by 2 hundredths there, right? Going on. 6 hundredths, 8 hundredths, 10 hundredths, 12 hundredths, 14 hundredths, 16 hundredths, 18 hundredths, 20 hundredths. Now, which of those could we put in simplified form specifically as tenths? Yes, 0 hundredths is equal to, 0 tenths. 10 hundredths, 1 tenth, and 20 hundredths, 2 tenths. There they are. Beautios. Moving on. We're going to kind of cruise through this one as well because we've done a whole lot of this. 7 hundredths as a decimal would be 0. Now careful here, 0.7 because there are no tenths, right? It's 7 in the hundredths place, 700, 700. Great. Oh my goodness, now what's that? Okay, so we have one whole, and these are hundredths obviously, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hundredths. So 1 and 7 hundredths. So go back for a second. Look at that. That's 7 hundredths. This is 1 and 7 hundredths. What would that look like as a fraction? Okay, mixed number here. 1 and 7 hundredths. And how about as a decimal? Same thing. 1 and 7 in the hundredths place. Beautiful. Here's another one. Now we have 2 wholes. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hundredths. Okay, so same thing, except now it's 2, right? 2 and 7 hundredths. Decimal, same thing. 2 and 7 in the hundredths place. Beautiful. Oh, now we got some more hundredths going on here. Well, we know that's 10, so we don't have to count them. So 11, 12. So now it's 2 whole and 12 hundredths. Okay, so 2 and 12 hundredths as a mixed number, just the way you read it, 2 and 12 over 100. As a decimal, now this harkens back to when I was saying, hey, you can read the number here, 2 and, now read the number, 12, what place are we in? Hundredths. 2 and 12 hundredths. Now let's break it down. 2 and 12 hundredths in fractional form there is the whole number 2 plus, 10 hundredths, and then another 2 hundredths, which you can actually see. That's why we do this, what's it called again, a decimal chart or something? All right, now let's do that in decimal form. We can simplify first. We have the 10 hundredths, which is equal to 1 tenth, okay? So these are all equivalents. Everything that's written here, these are all equivalents. This is a fractional simple expanded form, okay? And then with that hundredths reduced to tens. Now let's look at it in decimal form, 2 and 12 hundredths. Let's break that down. We have the whole number 2. What do we have in the tenths place? We have a 1, which we're going to call 10 hundredths, just as we did over here in the fraction, okay? And then what else? 2 hundredths. Okay, great. What can we do with that 10 hundredths? Same thing we did over here. 10 hundredths we can simplify to 1 tenth. So there we are in decimal form. 2 and 1 tenth and 2 hundredths will give us 2 and 12 hundredths. All these bad boys here, all these are equivalencies. They're all equal. Different ways of breaking down, writing, expressing the same value. Speaking of value, boom, how about that? We're going to write a mixed number. Write 1, 1, so this is unit form, 1, 1 and 7 hundredths as a mixed number. Okay, so 1 in the ones place, 7 in the hundredths place. There's this place in between there, the tenths. What's going there? A big fat nothingness of 0, right? So as a mixed number, sorry, I was jumping to decimal, 1 and 7 hundredths. Great. Now we'll do it as a decimal, 1 and 7 in the hundredths place. Okay, the obvious error someone could make here would be to put the 7 in the tenths place, because when you go back, you see 1 and 7, 1, 7, and just to make it 1.7, but we know the 7 is hundredths, it goes in the hundredths place. All right, mix it up a little. 1, 1, 17 hundredths. Okay, mixed number is going to be just like that. It's going to be 1, 1, 17 hundredths. Okay, now as a decimal, we're going to write 1 and the number 17 such that it ends in the hundredth place. Watch this. 1 and 17. What place are we in? Hundredths. Beauteous. 3 ones, 37 hundredths. Okay, as a mixed number, it's going to be written in fractional form exactly the way we read it there. 3 ones, 37 hundredths. Now as a decimal, 3 and is our decimal point, 37 such that it ends in the hundredths place. 3 and 37, where are we? Hundredths. Excellent. Here's another one, 7 ones, 64 hundredths. First as a mixed number, 7 and 64 hundredths. 7 and 64 hundredths. Now as a decimal, I think you're getting the hang of this now. 7 and 64 hundredths is where we are. Great. One more. Now look at this one. It seems that sometimes zeros in math can make you a little spooked out. Don't worry about it. Watch. It works the same way. Just treat 0 like any other number here. 9 ones, 90 hundredths. Exactly. We're going to write the mixed number the same way we did all the others. 9 ones, 90 hundredths. And now as a decimal, 9 and, decimal point, 90 such that the 90 ends in the hundredths place. 9 and 90, where are we? Hundredths. Now, is there something else we could do with that one? We sure could, because we know, oh, I'm going to go back. Oh, you didn't see that. We could here, we could say, hey, this is also equal to 9 and 9 tenths. In fact, in fractional form as well, 9 and 9 tenths by dividing by 10 tenths. That was a little bonus there. Who remembers what this is called? This is like the easiest application problem in the entire year. I can make it more complicated, but I'm not going to. Hey, I can draw a line down here such that if I folded this over, the two sides would line up. And in this little doohickey-jobby here, I could draw a line down here, fold this over, and it would line up. In fact, I could draw a horizontal line here as well, and this would fold over and everything would line up. What's it called? Symmetry. Yes. And the root of symmetry, you may recall, is sim meaning same, metry meaning measure. They have the same measure across that line of symmetry. Beautiful. All right, told you that was the quickest one ever. Now, as promised at the beginning, now we're going to do the same thing. Place value dis, place value chart, mixed numbers and decimals. And we're going to do it with hundreds, tens, ones, tenths, hundredths. Okay, so we're just using 5 places on that beautiful place value chart. It's going to look like this. So here are some place value dis. We have 3 hundreds, 7 tens, 8 ones. Now we've passed the decimal point, so we have 7 tenths, 3 hundredths. So go ahead, take a moment, and write down that number in standard form. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's do it in unit form as well. Okay, so I have 3 hundreds, 7 tens, 8 ones, 7 tenths, 3 hundredths. So now writing it in standard, let's just do the place value chart first because that basically gives you standard form, all right? So 373 and 78, where are we? Hundredths. And how is this place value chart different from Module 1? Yeah, back in Module 1, we did not have our little decimal pal here. We just went from millions down to ones and stopped there. Now we're adding in tenths and hundredths. And boy, wouldn't it be oh so right and appropriate if in 5th grade you added on thousandths. Sneak preview. All right, read this number with me again. 373 and 78 hundredths. Excellent. Okay, so now I'm going to give you another number. This number, and I'm just going to read the way it's written, 301.56. Well, put this on the place value chart. It's pretty easy. We just transpose the numbers, right? So now let's read it, though. 301 and 56, where are we? Hundredths. Excellent. Now here's a number with lots of zeros. And remember, zeros can make you a little freaky, but don't worry about it. We just transpose all the numbers to the place value chart, and that's going to help us read it. Read these three digits as a single number. 200 and, what do we have here? 9, where? Hundredths. Now watch how it works. 200 and 9 hundredths. Brilliant! All right. I can say the value of each digit. Let's do it. All right. Here's that same number as before. What's the value of the digit in the hundreds place? It's a 3 in the hundreds place. Its value is 300. Remember that? Again, going back to Module 1. Now what's the value of the digit in the hundredths place? It's an 8 in the hundredths place. Its value is 8 hundredths. Excellent. We have a pair of 3s here, right? If this were a poker hand, this would be pretty good, right? We have 2 3s. I don't play poker. All right, if we have 2 3s here. Which one has the greater value? 3 1s or 3 hundreds? Well, okay, yes, we know. It's the 3 in the hundreds place. Do you know how many times more? Well, watch. Every place is times 10, right? So the 3 in the hundreds place is 10 100 times more than the 3 in the ones place. And that's true, of course, right? 3 times 100 is 300. And you see another pair. Look at the digit in the tens place and the digit in the tenths place. 7 tens, what's its value? 70. 7 tenths, what's its value? 7 tenths. Bring! That's it. Which one has a greater value? Of course. If I said to you, hey, would you like 7 tens or 7 tenths of a dollar? You take those 7 $10 bills, wouldn't you? That's $70, that's its value. This is 70 cents. So, and how many times greater? Times 10 times 10? It's 100 times greater again. All right, so what's the value of the 8? 8 in the hundredths place is 8 hundredths. That's its value. Let's do the same with this number here. Okay, let's read it again together. 301 and 56 hundredths. Excellent. Well, let me go back. Let's look at the value. What's the value of the 3? 300. What's the value of the 1? 1. What's the value of the 5? 5 tenths. What's the value of the digit 6? 6 hundredths. Great. Here, what's the value? Let's read it first. 200 and 9 hundredths. Okay, what's the value of the 2? 200. What's the value of all these zeros? You would just say 0. Actually, the value of any 0 in any place is 0. And how about the value of this 9? 9 hundredths. Excellent. Now we're going to do expanded form. When we did expanded form back in Module 1, I believe it was, wasn't it? Or was that 3? I can't remember. Look it up. We didn't do it with decimals and fractions. Okay, so now we're just, same thing as before though, we're just adding in the decimals and fractions. And we've had to taste this already. Here's what it looks like. Same number as we saw before. Let's write it in decimal expanded form. So it's 300. What's the value? 70. 8, 7 tenths, 3 hundredths. And that's exactly what we write with pluses in between. 3 times 100 plus 7 times 10 plus 8 times 1 plus 7 times, this is the new part, 1/10. Very good. 1/10, and we're doing this in decimal form. We could do this in fractional form, and we will. with 1 over 10, but here we're doing it in decimal form. 7 in the tenths place, expanded is 7 times 1/10, plus 3 times 1/100th, written in decimal form here. Okay, and that gives us the grand number. Let's read it. 378 and 73 hundredths. Beauteous. Now we're going to do the same thing but in fraction expanded form. Okay. Now look, these are going to be the same, aren't they? 3 times 100 is still 3 times 100. 7 times 10, same. 8 times 1. The only slight difference here, and you would actually read these two sentences the same. So if you weren't looking at them and just listening, you wouldn't know if I were reading them in fraction or decimal form. 7 times 1/10 in fraction form. 3 times 100th in fraction form gives us the same number, but a little difference here as well. I'd read it the same, but yes, that fractional part will be in fraction form instead of decimal. 378 and 73 hundredths. Yes! Woo! You done it! You're onto the problem set. And you see here, you're saying, what's the value of 2 tens? 20. What's the value of 5 tenths? Notice they skipped the ones place here, so watch for stuff like that. Okay. Here, this is what we were just doing. What digit is in the hundredths place? What's its value? So what digit is in the hundredths place? That's a 4. What's its value? 400, and so on. Great. Same thing with another number. And here, this is going to take some time. So breathe in, breathe out, be patient, take your time, learn this, and do it right. It will help you down the line. Here you're doing both fraction expanded form and decimal expanded form. Okay, sorry, fraction and decimal here. And notice that this is the full expanded form, and this I believe is called simple expanded form. Okay, so there's a decent amount of work to do just right there. Okay, so count on that taking a little while. And then, yes, there's more. And here they're just giving you the decimal to start with, and you have to do it as, and on some of these back here, you had these two, you had to do it as well. But on all of these here, you have to write the mixed number and then the fraction and decimal expanded form. And notice in all cases, you're doing it both ways. So I tell you honestly, it is a lot of writing. So call on your inner patience. Exit ticket is the same thing, but abbreviated as per usual. Right, this looks very familiar. And when you get to homework, what do? That's right, you know by now. You hop over to homework time and do the homework with me. So, well, look what you've gone and done. You've completed yet another lesson. You. All right, enough of that. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, or at least a fraction as much as I did, perhaps 1/100th as much as I did. And I will see you next time. It is once again lesson time.